We're going to look at something maybe that me and Kevin aren't as
Right in
much
my wheel.
experts.
No, right in my wheelhouse. Beauty products. Come on.
And hair, hair care.
This is perfect
Eyebrow
for me.
care. Come on, you can't leave the eyebrows
Wait.
up.
Why is Megan laughing all the way from Louisville? What's that all about?
Kevin, you're very glamorous. We all know this.
Yes.
But yeah, we're talking
I'm
Ulta Beauty today. And Ulta reports earnings after market today and the whole slew of these last few weeks of retail-heavy earnings season, right? And Ulta's a pretty impressive company this year. They're up 35% year to date, and they've sort of seen a sympathy pop like Elf and Estee Lauder did after their earnings as well. And I was seeing online that a lot of people are wondering if Ulta is poised to pop as much as these other beauty names. So Megan, I'm wondering, what is your data telling you about Ulta Beauty?
So when we look at Ulta Beauty, I think first you're going to see a purchase intent chart comparing Ulta to Sephora. And what's interesting, so these are mentions of people talking about going to Ulta, ordering some type of cosmetic from Ulta, and same for Sephora. And what's interesting is that both companies have a bit different of a trajectory. Now, they are two different beasts. You know, Ulta is more, they have your drugstore brands and your prestige brands, whereas Sephora is typically more of your prestige brands that they're offering to clients. But what you see is that Ulta is actually up about 3% from a purchase intent perspective quarter over quarter, whereas Sephora is trailing. They're down about 6%. So, you're starting to see Ulta really take some market share from Sephora, which I think is really strong for Ulta moving forward. And I think what's leading this strength is their how well they're executing their mass cosmetics and those more affordable things for consumers.
I would so like to have a good, intelligent question to ask about this. It would be so good at this point in the show for me to say something intelligent, but I got nothing.
You have a daughter.
I have nothing other than the trading part of it. I can see what the expected move is. I can see things like that. But in terms of this product, I have a big donut. I mean, this seems to be more of a midpoint, not the high end. Am I right to say that? They appeal more to the masses than the high-end makeup?
Correct.
Aha.
Yes.
See, I did.
Got it.
See?
The revenue is definitely more diversified. Ulta does have, like Megan said, the lower-end products, the drugstore brands, but also you see in there the higher-end products that Sephora also sells. And I think that's what you're seeing on this chart, too, is how Ulta's encroaching on that territory because they do appeal to more of the masses. But Megan, I have a tweet that sort of compares it to a different company. Our first tweet from Kaylin, she says, "Why am I able to spend hundreds of dollars at Ulta, but when I buy one thing from the makeup department at Target, I have a funeral for my bank account?" I like this tweet because I'm not quite sure if she's saying that she spends more at Target than she does at Ulta, or if she just feels better spending more money at Ulta.
I think this
Target.
is more of a question. Why is this happening to me? It's one of those situations.
I like how this positions Ulta to being a competitor to Sephora, yes, we know, but also to more of those everyday places like Target.
Yeah, to me, Megan, this maybe is one of those things where is it the culture around an Ulta or Sephora that makes it more acceptable to spend the money on the products, and it's kind of like treating yourself, where maybe Target, it's like going to the grocery store and it's more of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just bought that, or am I thinking about this wrong?
No, I actually think you're right. I actually looked at Ulta or makeup and cosmetics, the Target specifically, and Amazon, just because that's a lot of chatter that we see people talking about when they're talking about Ulta is, are more people, are they switching away from that to go to Amazon or go to Target? And when I looked at it, actually the cosmetic / beauty industry with Target mentions, it's not necessarily growing. And so I think that that's strong for Ulta because they have created this, an environment that people want to be a part of, a really enjoyable experience for consumers to go to Ulta. I think that this chart that you see, this is purchase intent mentions of brands that are exclusive to Ulta in this mass cosmetics field. So in this segment that they're so strong in. And I think that, Ulta is doing a really good job of leveraging these brands. And, you can only get these type of things at Ulta. And so maybe that's why, like Evelyn pointed out in the tweet, you can go find something at a great price at Ulta and you can't get that at Target.
Or you may run into that makeup. I could have bought 6 bottles of ketchup with the same price I just spent on that makeup,
Yes.
and that's why you get that. You don't have that when you go to Ulta.
I've never ever said that sentence before in my life. But Megan, I like when you bring out this exclusivity, because I think lately whenever someone talks about Ulta, they talk about the Kylie Jenner effect, and how whenever Kylie started to exclusively sell her makeup line at Ulta, the stock saw a really big pickup. And our own Oliver Rennick loves to talk about the Kylie Jenner effect with Ulta. But something else that I saw as far as Ulta's exclusivity is that Funko, the doll company, is coming out with their own makeup brand as well, and it will be sold exclusively through Ulta stores and online.
So a toy company is making makeup. That really seems like a trustworthy product.
What are the names like?
Really an expert on makeup.
Buy the Joker or the Riddler makeup.
Aren't they Disney themed? Did I see that?
They're kind of just pop culture almost, but I don't know. Maybe that is.
The makeup line is Disney themed. But then I also have this next tweet that says, "Sell the car, save the nighttime moisturizer. Skincare is highly resilient in times of economic uncertainty." And they point to a Morgan Stanley survey that shows that in times of economic uncertainties, skincare spending is the 54% least likely to get cut. And the next on the line is makeup at 5%, and then everything goes to the negatives. So I like how there's been a lot of potential recessionary conversations, what with the inverted yield curve, and I think this chart and this tweet shows that Ulta might be just fine. What do you think, Megan?
Yeah, I think that makes complete sense. People always care about aging and appearance, and especially in this industry. I like your exclusivity point before. I think that I was reading that 9% of their sales came from exclusive products only to be bought at Ulta. And I think that these partnerships that they're doing with Ariana Grande, with all of these YouTube makeup influencers, that's really helping to bolster these customers and coming back to Ulta because they can only buy the products at Ulta. I think Ulta is also doing a good job transitioning to digital. One thing we've never brought up before that we do at LikeFolio is we track these high volume dates. And we had what we call a spike date in June when they had this free shipping sale. And so that's really promising to us because it shows that Ulta is maybe improving their supply chain, maybe they're improving their digital capacity. And I think that that's going to be important for them moving forward while they compete with the Amazons of the world.
Megan, this has been an incredible story over the last 5 years, trading under $100 around 2015, all the way up to almost $400 and $336 currently. When you're looking at this stock from an investment standpoint potentially here versus what your data is showing, has the stock outpaced the data? Because when I look at the data, and I know these are specific things you're tracking, it does seem to have kind of maybe topped out and have been turning to the downside.
It's interesting. Like I said, the purchase intent, I think quarter over quarter in that chart is only up about 3%. And obviously the stock year to date is up much more than that. So, but when you look at the things that Ulta's doing, high growth is expected of them, and they've so far seemed to meet that demand. So, no clear, we're cautiously bullish on Ulta, but I think that, just because of how well their stock has been performing, that's something to keep in mind if they, for some reason, should disappoint in earnings.